I don't know what I'm doing with this video. Honestly, I wanted to dive into two stories that revolve around the Stanley Cup Finals and/or the teams within them. Because these are not really big enough, I would say, to fully make their own unadulterated videos about them, but I wanted to talk about the Oilers, I wanted to talk about the Panthers, and some former OHL phenoms. Because, speaking out yesterday after game number 3, we had ourselves a really interesting quote from Connor McDavid, essentially warning the Florida Panthers on how the best is yet to come. I'm going to leave a link in the description to Connor McDavid's post-game availability, which coincidentally happens to have 666 likes. Let's go out there and read these comments, shall we? McDavid says that it was a weird game. Obviously, when you start in the first with 4 penalties, almost half the period you're killing, so not a good way to get into your game. Yeah, weird game. I thought a lot of power play and penalty kill either way. We never got to our game. The question is then tossed Connor's way. How do you assess this team's overall performance? And he says, yeah, obviously it wasn't our best. Not our best at all. I don't think our best has shown up all series long. But it's coming. Shift the focus to finding a way to get a win in game 4. And that is a pretty big, bold, and audacious comment here from Captain Connor, going out there and saying, yeah, sorry Florida, but our best is yet to come. We haven't given you our best yet. We haven't shown that off yet. But it is coming. If that's not a not-so-subtle warning to the Florida Panthers, then I don't know what is. It's taking accountability here and telling everybody, yeah, we know we haven't been playing as good as we could be. And I think that has been one of the main critiques about Edmonton so far throughout these 3 games. Even in the game 1, yeah, they clawed back and they were able to win in overtime. But they didn't play their best game in that one. They were down to open things up after all. Game 2, they clawed back, they tied it up, but then again, still, they put themselves in a tough spot in the first place. Game number 3, they totally lost composure, and that's why we had seen the result that we saw. The question then gets tossed out to McDavid. Connor, it's uncharacteristic for this team to lose their composure like you did. What accounts for that? Connor then responds, I don't think we lost our composure until maybe the very end there, trying to show a little bit of fight back. But yeah, I don't mind the fight back, obviously. I think that's what good teams do. Obviously not thrilled with the first period, giving up, as I had said, 8 minutes in penalties. Power play is not able to get one, their power play gets one, and you're in a hole right away in a tough building against a really good team. It's not easy to chase games. The question is then asked, do you look at that and say that's something we can fix because it was 3 offensive zone penalties? And then Connor says, yeah, something we can fix for sure. Something we can fix for sure. So Connor is taking full responsibility and accountability here, and also trying to remind all the fans that the best is yet to come out of this Oilers squad. Honestly, the way these comments are going, it's almost like a similar flavor to his dig the F in speech from last year that everybody's gone out there and remembered because it was quite memorable. It's the finals. It's not effing good enough, he said. Dig the F in. And that became the tagline, I think, for a lot of folks trying to motivate themselves on a Saturday night to go out for your nightly run. Connor McDavid has that leadership in him, and even in the media going out there saying, yeah, we can be better. The best is yet to come. We have not shown our best, but it is coming. Those are fighting words there, Connor. And I'm all here for it because the Florida Panthers, taking themselves the 2-1 series lead that they had, obviously, things will get a lot more interesting if things get tied up 2-2 and Edmonton has all the momentum going back into Alberta. Speaking about the Panthers, though, I wanted to dive into another update that was talked about by James Myrtle earlier this morning on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. He went out there and spoke about the Panthers and how Mitch Marner has the Panthers high on his list. However, it is unclear if the Florida Panthers can make it work. And I'm just sitting here thinking, okay, the Florida Panthers have made the finals 3 years in a row. They already have 1 championship. They could be on their way to getting another. You have all of these benefits of state tax and top-tier players signed on for cheap in the Cats organization. And then Mitch Marner wants to go here? Bruh. This team's gonna have Joe Thornton, Brad Marchand, Mitch Marner? Bruh, what is this gosh darn tour of the Floridas that we are taking out here? Not to mention Claude Giroux, Vladimir Tarasenko, all these guys finding themselves in the Florida Panthers organization. All of a sudden, sunny state Florida, this is where folks want to be. This is where players want to play. And now, like Mitch Marner, he could be taking his services over there. As we had said in the prior videos, Florida has no state tax. Whatever money that Marner is going to be getting in USD playing for the Florida Panthers, his take-home pay is going to be so much higher than what he's getting in Toronto, just with the lesser taxes and, of course, with the conversion rate there. They can afford to potentially pay Marner maybe a lesser AAV than what he's getting right now, just because Marner will walk away with more money at the end of the day. Although a part of me does think that a lot of this could be a pride thing too. How Marner and his family have always been pushing for the highest dollar amount possible, and that also comes with the status of being a highly paid NHL player. If Marner is all of a sudden the number 1 or number 2 paid winger in the National Hockey League, then I think that might be something that he's aiming for. It's just, the Toronto Maple Leafs cannot give him that money. So go over to Florida, where you're not going to be number 1 or number 2 or number 3 paid in the league anymore. Maybe you're number 7, but you get some more dough at the end of the day because of that tax situation. Imagine that, man. Reinhart getting fed out by Mitch Marner. Alex Barkov, Matthew Tkachuk going over there. This will be the gosh darn London Knights of 2015 all over again. They just gotta get Christian Dvorak, and then they can reunite the best line in the OHL of that decade. We made videos about that gosh darn line. Marner, Dvorak, and Tkachuk, they were so dominant. Swing a deal with Montreal, why don't ya, and grab yourselves that last remaining piece. And I love the dynamic there, because when they were in the OHL, Tkachuk, Marner, these guys were kind of the youngins taken under the wing of Christian Dvorak, who was a little bit older. I'm not saying that Mitch needs to be babied at the NHL level, but I am saying if he is not the number 1 piece on a team, I feel like that's where he really does excel. All of a sudden, it's like, yeah, you've got the top defensive center in the league in Barkov, who is a number 1, he's the captain. You've got a Christian Dvorak-like asset that could be down the middle that's a little older. And heck, even if you don't get Christian Dvorak, you still got Sam Reinhart there, who is a little bit more of a senior compared to Marner as well. Something about this idea of Marner highly wanting to go to Florida is just so terrifying for the rest of the National Hockey League. That Panthers squad is going to make the gosh darn finals 4 years in a row. Talk about the New York Islanders of the 80s, eh? With all this in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, though. What are your thoughts on Connor McDavid's warning to the Florida Panthers? And what are your thoughts on Marner wanting to go to the Panthers more than seemingly any of these other teams so far? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.